Hey everyone, this is Tony, Tainted Lord A7, and this is going to be part 3 of my CD collection, so let's go and get started. The first CD I'm going to show off is from a band that I just heard about recently, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this band, and I decided to check this band for myself, and I actually really enjoy this release, and that's Knocked Loose. You won't go before you're supposed to. Yeah, Knock Loose, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to is a very angry, aggressive album. I guess they're more like a metallic hardcore band, if I have to describe them. Yeah, like a metallic hardcore band, but it's angry, pissed off, aggressive, heavy as balls, and just doesn't let up. Well, most of the time it doesn't let up. There is some softer moments, specifically on the last track, but overall, it's just like what I said. It's angry, aggressive, heavy, and the vocals might take some getting used to, but once it does, it just fits with the music, in my opinion. So yeah, the first CD I'm going to show off is "Knock Loose." You won't go before you're supposed to. Very heavy release. The next four CDs is from the same band. First one up is Meshuggah, Immutable. A really good technical thrash, genty, heavy metal album, in my opinion. Yeah, Meshuggah's Immutable. Meshuggah's Contradiction, Collapse, and None EP. Yeah, Contradiction, Collapse is more thrashy than the later work, and it includes the EP None. So yeah, that's pretty cool to have. So yeah, Meshuggah's Contradictions, Collapse, and None EP. Next up is my favorite Meshuggah album, Chaos Spiel. Just a really angry, aggressive, technical, thrash metal, genty kind of sound. But yeah, definitely my favorite Meshuggah album. So yeah, Chaos Spiel by Meshuggah. And the last Meshuggah album I have in my collection is Catch 33 by Meshuggah. Again, another solid Meshuggah album from this band. More of the same of what they've been doing for the entire career. So if you know what they sound like, you know what to expect. So yeah, Meshuggah's Catch 33, a really great album in my opinion. Okay, and then the next five band. Okay, the next five band is from the same band. The first one is Saxon, Hell, Fire, and Damnation, the latest release. Just a very solid heavy metal album through and through. These guys just never fail to bring some heavy metal in this day and age, considering their age. So yeah, Saxon, Hell, Fire, and Damnation. Saxon, Carpe Diem, another solid heavy metal album from these guys. Next is Thunderbolt. Yeah, Thunderbolt by Saxon, another solid heavy metal album from these guys. Next up is Saxon, Battering Ram. Again, another solid heavy metal album from these guys. And the last Saxon album that I have in my collection is actually a pretty underrated one, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. But again, it's another solid heavy metal album, and that's Call to Arms by Saxon. Yep, like I said, another solid heavy metal album, but a pretty underrated one that doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. So, yeah, Call to Arms by Saxon. Okay, next CD is Despise Icon, Beast, a very, very aggressive, ferocious deathcore album from these guys. So yeah, Despise Icon, Beast really lives up to his title. Bathory, Blood, Fire, Death, classic extreme metal album from these guys. Like Bathory should be a big name in the metal scene, so everybody should know who this band is or was. But yeah, Bathory, Blood, Fire, Death, a classic album from these guys. Next up is Tyranno, Skulls, Horns, and Lust. Admittingly, I haven't listened to this album enough, so I kind of forgot what they sounded like on here, but if I have to guess, it'll be like um a, s- an extreme death metal album um with some death doom moments. Sorry if I got it completely wrong. Like I said, I haven't listened to this album in a while, so my memory is a bit fuzzy, but yeah, Tyranno, Skulls, Horns, and Lust. Just a solid extreme metal album. I'll just leave it at that. Next up is a band whose name I'm totally going to butcher, and is Bador Vogu in the album Wath. Yeah, yeah, the name and the album title is really hard to pronounce, so sorry if I butchered it, but last time I remember it, they were like a sludge doomy kind of extreme metal band. You know, kind of mixes sludge metal with a bit of doom metal. And yeah, just a solid extreme metal album. So yeah, Bador Vogu Wath. Check it out if you're curious for something different. Next up is Gatecreeper, Deserted, one of the best H&2 sounding death metal bands to come out of the US. And yeah, just a solid death metal album overall. So yeah, Gatecreepers, Deserted. Next up is Psy, Imaginary Sonicscape, a Japanese black metal avant-garde band, but on this album they really go the extra mile by adding different genres and instrumentations, which is really hard to describe, and you just have to hear it to know what I mean. But yeah, this is a very interesting release. So yeah, Psy, Imaginary Sonicscape. Next up is Hate Eternal, Infernus. Just a solid death metal album through and through, fast and punishing. It's a good release. So yeah, Hate Eternal, Infernus. Next up is Skid Row in their self-titled album. No need for any description, just a solid 80s heavy metal classic. You know, everybody should know who Skid Row are. Everybody should know who Skid Row are and what this album is. So yeah, Skid Row's self-titled album. Next up is, excuse me. Next up is Lucifer's Hammer, Beyond the Omens. Yep, just some solid, straight up heavy metal through and through. Such a good release. So, yeah, Lucifer's Hammer, Beyond the Omens. Next up is Grip Incorporated. Grip Incorporated, Power of Inner Strength, or Grip Inc. However you say the name. Power of Inner Strength is just a solid thrash metal album. Just heavy, fast, very riff driven, and really aggressive. So if you love your thrash metal, definitely check out Grip Inc. and Power of Inner Strength. Just a fantastic release. Next up is Chevelle. This type of thinking could do us in. Yeah, if you're into some like alternative rock, alternative metal from the early 2000s, this might pique your interest. So, yeah, Chevelle's This Type of Thinking could do us in. Next up is acoustic pop album actually, and it's from an artist that I know nobody has heard of, and that's Helena Chu, Astronaut. Yeah, like I said, it's like an acoustic pop album. So if you're interested in that, definitely check this release out. And the next four albums is from the same group, and they're basically a 90s boy band. Yeah, a 90s boy band that everybody should know, or at least has heard of, and they really don't need any introduction, so I'm just going to show it. First one up is Backstreet Boys, DNA. Um, Backstreet Boys, Backstreet's Back. Backstreet Boys, Millennium, which is definitely my favorite Backstreet Boys album. Just a lot of classic songs on here. Really grew up with this album, and just it's one of my favorites from them. So yeah, Backstreet Boys, Millennium. And the last CD in this CD collection is Backstreet Boys, Black and Blue, which which is probably my second favorite Backstreet Boys album, Black and Blue. And yeah, nothing more, nothing less. And that's everyone. That's part 3 of my CD collection. Hopefully you found it interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and look forward to part 4 whenever that happens. Take care, and goodbye, I guess.